Okay, as I was remembering what the Lord has already done for me and brought me through, and the importance of obedience and his love and mercy, I wanted to share something that I have already went through. So there was a time that God was speaking through somebody and telling me to go to a place, kind of like he did with Abraham when he said, "Go to a place and I will show you." So I said, "Yes, Lord." So I did what was required that I could do. I grabbed a big duffel bag, which I only really put in it a picture, an address. I had the clothes on my body and my cell phone. Now, I didn't know what I would go through to get to that place or what I would go through in that place, but I gave God my yes, Lord, and I acted on it. So I went through some crazy stuff now. Like I don't want to get into it all really, but I mean this involved traveling by myself. This involved me being in New York City and getting led in circles at night, asking people which way do I go to get to my next bus, and being led around and around the same place through the bus station, right? And finally, I came to a man that was sitting there waiting for somebody to get bus fare from because he had to get somewhere too. And I looked at him and I said, "Sir," I said, "if you could just help me right now. I keep asking people which way to go, and they keep leading me in circles, and I really need to get to this place to take that bus." I said, "I'll give you this $20 right now. Just please, please help me." And he pointed me the way to go. And sure enough, I was able to go and get there. And I had to run through like this alleyway in New York at night. And it was all crazy, but I got there. Then I got to a place where I was in some state. I don't even know what it was. And I was told I didn't need one specific ticket, but I needed another to get on the bus. And I was hungry and thirsty. I didn't eat or drink nothing. So I was going to the machine to try to get crackers and snacks. I had just got a bunch of quarters. And then they called to say that the bus was leaving. So I had to abort the food. And then when I got there, they said, "Oh no, like you need the ticket that they said I didn't need." So I dropped all the coins. I was so frustrated. I went to the counter and I bought a ticket as fast as I could. I bought another ticket even though I had already paid and bought for one. So then I made it onto that bus. It was a crazy bus ride. It was raining for 2 days. I was hungry and thirsty. There was just things going on, and God placed people on that bus, and the devil did too. The devil was trying to, really trying. He said, he came with that game like, "Oh, your man not treating you right. Leave with me. Come with me." And I'm like, it sounded like some game from Mob Deep. And I'm like, "Man, who do you?" And I asked him what his name. He's like, "Daddy Muffin." I'm like, "Yeah, I ain't going with this dude, right? That's clearly from the devil." So then there was this another guy, and I begged him. I said, "I don't know where you're going, but if you could just help me, I'll give you all the money that I have left in my wallet. I just really need to get to this place." And I put him on the phone with my family member. He said, "No, you keep that. I'm not going to take that from you." He said, "But I will help you as far as I can help you. But when we come to the place where we have to part ways, you'll go on your way, I'll go on mine." I said, "Okay." And sure enough, he did that. And I finally was able to get to the place which God told me to go. And I had spent all the money I had to get there because of the different things, because I had to buy the extra bus fare and I helped that dude that helped me. So, anyways, I got there and I was told to take a shower, to get some sleep. I rested for a few days, right? And then it was like God put his finger on my head and said, "Be healed," right? And so I was like re energized and revived. And then he provided for me everything that I needed when I got there. I'm talking about he put clothes on my back, food in my belly, a roof over my head, everything that I needed in that place. I had it. Now, not every moment was easy. It was a situation where I was with someone's grandma, and this person was like a brother of mine growing up. His mom dated my dad, right? And at the time, I wanted to believe that he was the one for me because of everything that I had already bore before and what was done to me. And I was like, no, not you too. Like, I didn't want to accept it. So it was kind of like one of those things where God says to for Moses to do something. He says, Father, I cannot bear that alone, right? And so I was like, no, I cannot bear this too, right? And so it was like God was working through Mima, through his grandmother. And she said to me, okay, do this, that, and the other, right? Since you cannot bear that alone. So I kept the promise to his grandmother and I helped him out while during the 15th sentence. And and I don't regret it at all because sometimes we go through many crushings at different times in different seasons. We go through things that we bore through that we feel like we can't bear no more. And then God says, okay, well, do X, Y, and Z. So sometimes he has to get us into a place where we're hurt by that thing, even so much more so that we can release it, so his will can be done with it. And it took 30 to 40 days before his sentence was over when my mom was her kidneys were failing and she was dying, and I had to do the will of the Lord and release him. And I said, we cannot talk no more. And I had to do what was right because I know God comes to give life and to save, and I couldn't let my own mother die. That was not the will of God. So the will of God was for me to release that man. And Mima had told me, Shelly, I want you to love me because you love me, not just because of him. And that is surely what happened. I mean, I love that woman so much, even to this day. I loved her like my own family, and I still love her. But what I'm trying to say is the Lord has recently said to me, I'm doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? Though it's not that same circumstance and the same place where I already brought you to and out of. He's saying, I am the same God yesterday, today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Do you not remember when you gave me the obedience and said, yes, Lord, and went not knowing? And how I supplied everything you needed and helped my will to be accomplished, even providing what you didn't need because of your lack of trust and understanding and your inability to release something. But nonetheless, I worked in that and I helped you to release it. I am still with you. I have not left, and I am all faithful, not partial. So this spoke to me and just spoke so much hope because I know that he's calling me out to a place where I don't know things, but I don't have to go backwards because it's not where he brought me and what he brought me to and through and out of last time. But it reminded me that obedience is better than sacrifice and trust is better than knowing. Because the one we serve, when we serve God, knows it all. We don't have to know it all. We just have to be obedient. When he says to release something, when he says to go to a place, when he says to do a thing. And we get ourselves in trouble when we question if God's hand has shrunk. Or if we try to bring it about in our own way with our own understanding, like Sarah did with the instance of Sarah and Abraham, where she was like, well, the Lord said I was going to have a baby, but she said her womb was dried up. It was past the childbearing years. So she took it into her own understanding based off the natural and was like, well, Abraham, go knock up the maidservant then, and that brought much bitterness into their marriage. But despite that, God's will was still done. He still brought it to pass. He said, okay, you did it your way with your understanding. Now watch what I do, what I said I was going to do. Whew.